Hey guys, how's it going? It's John here again from Vogish Cars with another video. Sorry for the delay. I kind of just took my good old time getting around to making this video. I've had a bit of a work schedule change and just, trying to learn how to rebalance things. But anyway, so like I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to talk about some things that I didn't like about the C5 Corvette and some things that I think you should consider if you are in the market to buy one. Having owned multiple 90s and early 2000s GMs, I knew what I was signing up for, so it didn't really bother me. But we're going to dive right into it. And also, before I go any further, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and here we go. So the first two issues, I would put them as 1 and 2, but they're kind of in the same category. One would be interior quality, and 2 would be interior noise. So while the interior doesn't necessarily look bad, it's not so much the looks that are the rough part about it. Overall, I would say the interior actually looks pretty good. It's not ugly by any means. I mean, it's era correct. It looks like it's from that time period. Now, like I said, it's not really a looks issue. I actually like the look of the interior. I think it's mostly just that the materials themselves are very cheap. It looks good from a distance. I actually like the look of the interior. I think where the problem is just the overall material quality. So I'll show you here. I'll just press down on some stuff and you can hear it. I mean, so like just, plastic noises when you hit bumps. So I'll just kind of like slosh around and move. You might be able to hear some of that. You get dash creaks. And you also get massive panel gaps, which if I show you from this side is even more obvious. So yeah, pretty obvious on that one. That can get kind of annoying, especially if you're not used to it. Okay, so now on to number 3, which is road noise. So the road noise, it's not necessarily bad. If you're cruising at high speeds on a highway, it's pretty loud. I drove this car 4 hours back, 5 hours back home when I picked it up, and there was a lot of noise. Now, there are ways that you can get around that. A lot of the noise seems to come from the rear section here. So you can do sound insulation and deadener, which those two together should help minimize noise. So not necessarily a big deal if you think you can live with it. If you're going to be doing a lot of long road trips, you might not like it so much. It just depends. Now, probably one of the biggest ones is light output. The headlights on these cars are awful. So there's a couple different options that you can do to address that. I would always stick with ones that retain the pop-up style headlight. There's different price ranges too. You can spend a lot of money, you can spend a little bit of money, but I wouldn't do the C6 style ones where they jut out and they're kind of bubbly looking. But I'll get out and show you. I mean, you're not going to be able to see because it's daylight out, but you can at least see that. You can see when you see like the actual housing and how dim the light is. Just when you look at the housing, you can understand why it would be bad at night. And it is. I've driven it in the dark, and I think my fog lights, which weren't even aimed properly, had better light output than the headlights did. All right, and last but not least, number 5, the Corvette Tex. So, like any kind of, performance car, you're paying a premium on parts. The Corvette, I would say, is probably one of the better, tax cars out there when it comes to stuff like that. It just depends on what you're buying. Engine parts, it's an LS engine, so you're not really paying that much of a difference when it comes to most of those kinds of parts. Certain ones, yeah, you're going to probably pay a premium on. And, if you want to modify the car, if you think you're going to be putting down some serious power and you want a drivetrain to handle it, you're going to spend some serious money in the back end of the car here. The transaxle is just a very expensive setup. So to get a built transmission and differential, or just transaxle as a whole, it's a lot of money. And I guess it depends on if you're willing to spend that kind of money to make serious power. you can go, you know, it depends on how much you want to make. It depends on how strong you want it to be. But you could easily spend 10 grand upgrading the transaxle as a whole. You know, that's the differential and the transmission. And that's not even including torque tube stuff. So it can get out of hand really fast. This car is completely stock. I do plan on making some more power with it, but nothing that would hopefully require that, at least not in the near future. But yeah, you know, when it comes to performance parts, when it's more of like Corvette specific performance parts, it can get pretty expensive. And even just replacement parts, you know, for like, you know, interior pieces, that kind of stuff, body panels, it's expensive. You know, you're going to pay a premium for parts like these. That's just how it is. You can go buy a Porsche, it's going to be the same way, probably worse, but that's just how it is. If you can't deal with that, then, you know, you're kind of SOL on that one. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to make a short video and give you some ideas of what you might want to consider and look into before you buy a C5. You know, a test drive can be blinding. So if you go and just test drive one, you might not notice some of these things right away. And that's a big deal. So just something to consider, keep in mind. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'll be happy to give you some answers. But I gotta say, I think that while these can be issues, they're not an issue to me. I love this car, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. But anyway, once again, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later.